There was a lot of excitement heading into Game 7 here at the Barclays Center, but it wasn't a happy ending for the Brooklyn Nets. I'm Dexter Henry for NetsDaily.com, joined by Tom Lorenzo. And Tom, this was a disappointing effort by the Nets. They were down 17 at halftime. They fought back valiantly, but in the end, it wasn't meant to be, and the Nets are going fishing.
Yeah, look, there's a lot you can point to. The fact that they're down 17, that's tough to come back from with only 24 minutes to play. You know, they battled back. They pulled within 5. They pulled within 3 at one point, I think. But the problem is that you extend so much, and you can only do so much to try and close out that 17-point gap that they just ran out of gas. You know, Joe Johnson had just an awful game, probably his worst game of the year, shot 214. You know, terrible timing for Joe Johnson not to show up. It just wasn't a very good second quarter for the Nets, and a lot of issues there, especially offensively. And unfortunately, now they're going home.
It was indeed an offensive struggle, and the Bulls will move on to play the Miami Heat in the next round as the Nets will head home. After the game, we had a chance to hear from PJ Carlesimo and Darren Williams about why the Nets struggled in this Game 7 loss.
Even in the fourth, we just, you know, another shot here, a call there, something like that, we could have gotten back in. But it's a heck of a hole to dig, you know, against a team that's competing the way they're competing. And, you know, our guys, I mean, we really believe we could be the ninth team to come out of that hole, but you know, it wasn't big.
Always been a team this year that's had, you know, stretches in it, whether it be a quarter or 2 quarters, where it just seems like the wheels fall off, you know, all at once, and we can't get it back. And, you know, that's what happened tonight. You know, I think it was the third quarter, second quarter. You know, where we just couldn't buy a basket, couldn't get a stop. And, you know, those are things that can't really happen.
Okay, Tom. So the Nets lose. Season is over. It has been a tremendous year here at the Barclays Center watching the Nets play. I know I can say that. Yeah. Fans are obviously going to be disappointed, but the biggest question that fans want to know is, where does the team go from here? What are the roster changes we might see? And obviously, one of the other big questions is, what's going to happen as far as a head coach?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest question. What do you do about PJ? What do you do about the head coaching job? Does PJ come back? Darren Williams again spoke and said he would like for PJ to come back, but it's not up to him. Of course, it's very disappointing for them to lose in the first round. So I think the case is tough to be made for PJ to come back. Expectations were high here in Brooklyn, thinking at the very least get to the second round, give Miami a tough challenge, and that didn't even get to do that. So, you know, they're going to have to figure out coach first, because I think that's the key before they decide big roster changes, big roster moves. Obviously, they've got the draft coming up, you know, get a nice young piece, but the key right now is what's going to happen with the coach. Who do they bring in? Who do they talk to? And what kind of changes are going to be made? Yeah,
you're going to see a lot of names throughout our next couple of weeks and into the offseason, I'm sure. I wonder to see if the Nets will want to get a coach before the draft, or will they stick with PJ? Obviously, that option is still there. It'll be interesting to see what happens, Nets fans. As far as roster moves goes, you brought up the draft. There's not much the Nets can do as far as signing free agents, as they have a lot of money tied up into their big 3 players. What can the Nets do beside the draft, Tom, to improve this roster?
You know, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. They're going to have to develop the young guys, I think, is a key thing. Get those young guys minutes. Get Mirza, get Tyshawn. Start to develop them. The other thing is you have Chris Humphrey's expiring contract. He's $12 million owed. See if you can kind of sell him off. But the problem there is what you're going to end up getting in return is somebody with either a big expiring contract or with a bigger long-term contract that a team doesn't want to pay out. So it's not like you can kind of flip it for a young guy on a reasonable contract. You're going to get back another bad contract. So see what you can get for Chris Humphrey. See what you can do with the young guys. And I think those are the first 2 things you have to look at in going forward.
So developing players will be key to the Nets' future success. Obviously, experience is also a factor. The Nets did gain some experience here this year, got a taste of the playoffs, playing here in Brooklyn, losing a tough Game 7. I think there's plenty to see that this team can definitely grow from here this season. Well, that's it from the Barclays Center, Tom, for the final time this season. I had a great time doing all these videos for NetsDaily.com. It was tremendous. We will still have more video content coming through the offseason, so this is not the end of our video content. But for the final time, here at the Barclays Center, for Tom Lorenzo, I'm Dexter Henry. We're signing off.